Welcome to Hydrohaven. Today I'm sharing my beginner-friendly recipe for homemade potting soil that outperforms store-bought mixes at a fraction of the cost. If you've been frustrated with commercial potting soils that drain poorly, compact over time, or simply don't give your plants the nutrition they need, this guide is for you. Store-bought potting soils often contain low-quality ingredients and mysterious fertilizer pellets that might harm sensitive plants. By creating your own mix, you control exactly what goes into your soil, can customize it for different plants, and save money in the process. Even as a beginner, you can create a mix that professional growers would envy. The foundation of great potting soil follows a straightforward principle. Combine materials that hold water with materials that create airspace, then add nutrition. For beginners, I recommend starting with this simple 3-component mix that works for most common houseplants and garden containers. For this beginner-friendly soil mix, you'll need coconut coir as your base. Coconut coir comes in compressed bricks and serves as an excellent alternative to peat moss. It holds moisture well but doesn't become soggy. One brick typically expands to about 5 to 7 times its compressed size. For aeration, you'll need perlite, those white, lightweight particles you've probably seen in potting mixes. Perlite creates permanent air pockets that prevent soil compaction and allow roots to breathe. If perlite isn't available, pumice works wonderfully too. For nutrition, you'll need compost and worm castings. Finished compost provides slow-release nutrients and beneficial microorganisms. Worm castings are essentially worm manure and act as nature's perfect plant food, gentle enough to use liberally without burning plants. You'll also need a mixing container like a large plastic tub, wheelbarrow, or even a clean trash can. A garden trowel or small shovel helps with mixing, and a spray bottle allows you to moisten components as needed. Step 2. Prepare the coconut coir. Start by expanding your coconut coir brick. Place the brick in your mixing container and add warm water according to package directions, usually about 1 gallon per brick. The coir will begin expanding immediately, but give it about 30 minutes to fully absorb the water. Once expanded, break apart any clumps with your hands until the coir has a fluffy, consistent texture. Many beginners skip this crucial next step. Rinse the expanded coir with fresh water to remove excess salts. Simply add water, stir thoroughly, then tip the container to pour off the excess. Repeat this rinsing process once more. The prepared coir should feel moist but not soggy. When squeezed firmly in your hand, only a few drops of water should come out. If it's too wet, spread it out to dry slightly before proceeding. Step 3. Create your mix. For a basic all-purpose potting mix, combine 3 parts prepared coconut coir with 1 part perlite and 1 part compost. Add a generous scoop of worm castings, approximately equal to 1/5 of the compost amount. Mix everything thoroughly, using your hands or a garden tool to ensure even distribution of all components. Continue mixing until you no longer see distinct layers or clumps of individual ingredients. The finished mix should be lightweight, fluffy, and evenly moist with a pleasant earthy smell. If the mix seems too dry, lightly spray with water while continuing to mix. If too wet, add a bit more perlite or spread the mix out to dry slightly. The perfect consistency holds its shape when squeezed but crumbles easily when disturbed. Step 4. Optional enhancements for beginners. While the basic mix works wonderfully for most plants, a few simple additions can take your soil to the next level. For flowering plants, add 1 tablespoon of bone meal per gallon of soil mix to promote blooming. For leafy houseplants, add 1 tablespoon of kelp meal per gallon to encourage lush foliage growth. If your plants will be in containers for more than a few months, consider adding 1 tablespoon of crushed eggshells per gallon of mix. For seed starting, sift your finished mix through a kitchen colander to remove larger particles. The finer texture helps delicate seedlings emerge and establish their first roots. Step 5. Using your homemade potting soil. Your custom potting soil is now ready to use. When filling containers, avoid the common mistake of pressing down firmly on the soil. Instead, fill pots gently, tapping the container occasionally to settle the mix naturally. Leave about an inch of space below the rim for watering. After planting, water thoroughly until moisture runs from the drainage holes. This initial watering helps the soil components settle around the roots and eliminates air pockets that could dry out tender root hairs. For the first 2 weeks after planting in your custom soil, observe your plants carefully. The soil contains natural nutrients that release gradually, so avoid adding fertilizer immediately. Most plants show visible improvement within days of being transplanted into this nutrient-rich environment. Step 6. Storing extra soil. If you have leftover soil mix, store it in a closed container to preserve moisture and microbial life. A plastic storage bin with a loose-fitting lid works perfectly. Your homemade mix stays viable for months when properly stored, unlike many commercial mixes that deteriorate quickly after opening. Before using stored soil, fluff it gently with your hands and check moisture levels. You may need to add a small amount of water if the mix has dried significantly during storage. Real results you can expect. Plants grown in this simple custom mix show remarkable improvements over those in commercial soils. You'll notice stronger root development, more vibrant foliage color, and increased resistance to pests and diseases. Many beginners report that previously struggling houseplants push out new growth within weeks of transplanting into this mix. The water retention properties of coconut coir combined with the aeration from perlite create an ideal environment where roots can access both water and oxygen. The slow-release nutrition from compost and worm castings provides a steady supply of nutrients without the risk of fertilizer burn. Adjusting for different plants. One of the joys of making your own soil is the ability to customize. For succulents and cacti, simply increase the perlite to equal parts with the coir, reducing the compost slightly. For moisture-loving plants like ferns, reduce the perlite by half and add extra coir instead. For vegetable containers, add an extra scoop of compost to fuel heavy feeders through their growing season. For acid-loving plants like blueberries or azaleas, mix in a quarter cup of elemental sulfur per gallon of soil to lower the pH naturally. As you gain confidence with this basic mix, you can begin experimenting with additional components. Expanded clay pellets can replace some perlite for improved drainage in large containers. Rice hulls offer renewable aeration that slowly breaks down. Biochar improves water retention while sequestering carbon. Keep notes on how different plants respond to your soil. This documentation helps you refine your mixes over time, developing specialized blends perfect for your specific growing conditions and favorite plants. Creating your own potting soil might seem intimidating at first, but this simple beginner formula gives you an excellent foundation for success. The satisfaction of watching plants thrive in soil you crafted yourself is incredibly rewarding, and the money saved on premium potting mixes is just a bonus. Remember that healthy soil creates healthy plants, and healthy plants create a healthier world. Your journey towards soil mastery is just beginning, and we at Hydrohaven are excited to see what you grow. If you've found this guide helpful, please subscribe to our Hydrohaven channel and share this video with fellow plant enthusiasts. Your support helps us continue creating practical content that makes gardening accessible for everyone. Until next time, happy growing!